Hey guys, we're back on Ice Waffles, and today we are playing Mad Murders. And it looks like a white screen, but it is not. We are here with this cool looking cat, and there's a revolver here. We can't pick that up, but that's a pretty cool costume, gotta say. What's his name? I'm going with random. Something, something. So, either way, we are back from our little week break. I had a very, very productive week. I must say so myself. It was absolutely phenomenal. I must say so myself. I think I just said that. I actually got a lot of unturned stuff done, which you will see in the next episode, which will be unturned. Got a lot of personal life stuff done. Um, I got a lot of thinking done. And a lot of thinking about YouTube and just how I should um put everything together, if you know what I mean. And while we do this, let's just watch what's happening. And what I mean by that is like how I'm going to do my videos, what I should do with my videos and stuff like that. And I chose Mad Murders because it doesn't necessarily have a we don't have a goal that we're trying to complete by the end of the episode, besides surviving. And if you know what I mean, it's like by an end of a You're Not Alone episode, we might want to find or make an apartment, which we did last time. And that was a pretty good shot. So the gun seems to be somewhere else, and I gotta take a drink of water. Actually, it's Coke. But either way, Man Murders is just one of those. It's a very easy series to talk about or talk and stuff like that. I don't know. Ass butt. It's a great name indeed. So anyway, I was watching this video, and this is what I was thinking about while I was watching this video. I was like, this is how people do it. They just that looks really uncomfortable. So watching this video, and I know how with YouTube, it's basically just give your reaction or tell about a life. Okay, we're back and had some sort of mess up there. By the way, I was watching this video and this guy was talking about his life, just problems within his life, problems without his life, and all that sort of stuff. And I was thinking, I don't necessarily have to tell you my problems, and I know I've already been telling you like scenarios in my life.
Rainbows make me cry.
That's good for you. Um, but what I've been thinking about is like worst thing with a YouTuber, or hardest thing for me being a YouTuber, is commentary while playing. And some of you might just like watching the video, and that's cool. I could do that. Um, but there's always that one little thing that you just want to watch, or want to hear about. And sometimes I can't produce that. Like I can't like have a good occasion, and other times I can. And then there's those other times where you have a really really funny moment, and it's like you just can't put it into words. That happens a lot. But I was just thinking, like, how can I make this better? And, or how can I turn a funny situation or non-funny situation and make it funny? And I was like, well, just gotta add some pizzazz, not necessarily lie, and not necessarily make it up, and actually not at all make it up, but just, make a negative a positive. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that indeed. So, that's what I was thinking about this week a lot. Just how can I make the video better? And then, unturned, being all unturned and making stuff. I did a lot of changes, a lot of life-changing changes, if that made any sense. Okay. Oh, wow, that was a really good hit. GG, bro. Okay, so who's left? We got Tony, John, and Jack. I don't know where. Okay, so apparently. Okay, I'm assessing the situation. So I got a lot of changes in how we're gonna do things in Unturned. Not necessarily like how we're gonna do them, but what we're going to be doing. And you'll learn about those next episode, like I said before. So, going to a life story that I've wanting to tell you about is a pretty traumatic experience that happened to me. Let's get off of Jack. Um, Pretty traumatic experience that happened to me last Thursday, or no, well, yeah, last Thursday, the 2nd of October. It was pretty bad. So, my day had already started off pretty bad because I spent, like, all of Wednesday night, Come on, kill him. Kill him. I spent all of Wednesday night watching 2020, which is one of the weirdest things I could spend my night doing. So either way, I woke up pretty late, 7, not really late, but late for a school day, like 7:30. I was like, oh crap, because it takes me about 45 minutes just to, eat breakfast, because I'm one of those guys who I don't officially wake up until I get to like my second period class. So either way, had to do all that stuff, and when you just wake up and you're like one of those mornings where it's like, oh, this is gonna be cruddy. So I had that mindset, and I got to school, went to the band room because we're semi allowed to hang out there. So I went there, kind of just stood around. Friends came. I was like, hey guys, and I was like, today's actually pretty good so far. Everyone got murdered. Not really. But I was like, today's gonna be pretty good. And then I went to first period. First period, I'm like, okay, so got math and math. Gonna assign tons of homework. Pretty good actually. That was my phone, and I got to say, okay, that be cool. That be cool. That be cool. With the Z, yeah. Okay. So math, it's like homework. Don't want to have to do that. Well, nothing happened too bad. I mean, we got homework, but it was easy. So I remember having to start like right before. What the? Is she just shooting randomly? Oh, let's run. Please tell me Dennis isn't like on his side or flipper. Oh, I just stood there. I realized that. I was like, dang it. So going back, I remember like thinking of like how before a big storm hits, it's all calm and everything's settled and nice. I remember thinking that I was like, okay, something's gonna just nuke me in the face. And by second period, remember I told you second period is where I usually woke up. Well, if I didn't wake up in second period, this did. So our teacher. Now I'm not gonna describe say any names because I don't want to be that guy. But our teacher was like, today I'm kind of just feeling like we need to have a free day, or at least that's what I thought, because he never really what's the word? The day did not like accomplish any goals. Let's just put it that like the period. So he was like, okay. He called me up and he was like, you know what? You're gonna go and read to the class section 3, chapter 7, and answer any little questions that people might have. And I was like, that's cool because I had joked about being a teacher or teaching the class before a few weeks prior to this. So I was like, okay, cool. So I read chapter or section 3 of chapter 7 before I went up there, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So at first it was pretty good. I just got a little nervous at first. Got the dry mouth. Have you ever had that? Well, I had that. Then I just was like, okay, we can do this. So I got some pretty stupid questions, but kids will be kids. So he was sitting in my spot, like, we were in rows, and he was pretending to be a kid himself. And I was like, okay, that's pretty funny, I guess. Why wouldn't it be? I don't know. Let's check out the shop real quick. I've been wanting to buy the jute box for a while. I think it's like 1,000. Okay. So either way, he was sitting there and he was asking questions, to start to get the questions, started up for kids to be a little bit more encouraged by it. I thought that was pretty cool. But then things started to hit the fan. People were acting up, and I was given like, as considering I was quote unquote teacher, I wasn't really given any power to like make the kids quiet because they're not going to listen to a fellow student, and B, like half of them are taller than me, so I didn't have any, they didn't A, fear me, and they didn't B, respect me. So I was like, okay. So I thought he would step in, and he didn't. He was just like, oh yeah, let's just sit back in my chair and, watch this play out. So that started to happen, and then this kid who was really annoying, not necessarily, I want to say annoying, it's just, not necessarily the coolest person on the planet at times, started throwing paper balls at me, like, and I was like, wow, this is great. And, in movies when they have every kid making little paper airplanes and crud, I ain't in the mood. Oh, I just stood there. Um, throwing paper airplanes and all that stuff, and you see in the movies, and like that can never happen. Well, it did. And then another kid had a little laser pointer and started passing it around, and everyone started pointing a laser at me. And I was like, oh, really? And the teacher was just there, sitting back, legs crossed, like, yeah, okay. And I was like, dude, help me. And then he didn't help me. And the worst part is, after the period was over and the kids got their awesome laugh, and I was just sitting there like, oh god, why? I like was straining myself from punching something because I don't get angry easily. It's just when it's the thing that gets me the most, gets me, mad the most, is when something happens over and over and over and over and over again. It's like when someone makes a joke about you. It's cool to laugh at yourself, but when they continue to do it over and over and over again, it's like it gets stupid and it kind of becomes just mean. So, worst part is after the period was over, some kid threw the last paper ball, like a few paper balls, and this was the kid who'd been throwing them all along. And the teacher told me to pick that up because it was right by my desk, and I was like, no, I'm not picking it up. And he was like, come on, just pick it up. Because, this teacher knew I was a real softy in times. And I was like, I'm not picking it up. So I just, he continued to tell me to pick it up, and he even blocked my way from leaving, and I was just like, okay. I sat down in a desk, and he was like, pick it up. And I was like, mm-mm. And we have a 4-minute break between each period, and it's about probably, not really a minute in, 30 seconds, but it felt like a minute. I realize I'm sucking at this, but, I'm telling a story. It's really dramatic. Okay, everyone's like hiding. Is there anyone over there? No. So I was like, nope. And what I did was I climbed over a desk to get out of the classroom, and I did not pick it up. I was just like, not happening. So that was pretty terrifying. I hated it. And then what I hated the most was I was so enraged at everyone that I just like blew up in English class, which was great. Like, I was, have you ever heard of tears of joy, tears of sadness? I was tears of anger. I was like, I was raging so hard in English. It was horrible, actually. Second through fourth period was probably my worst, the worst few hours of my day, week, and month. It was pretty horrible. That Thursday, I did not like it at all. Not necessarily things got cleared up. The teacher wanted to call me in and like talk to me about what happened. I told him, well, he left me out to dry because he never gave me any power to, combat the kids or make them stop. So we had to talk about it. It was awesome. And now it's just awkward to go into that class. I'm like, okay. Because Friday, I remember we were playing Jeopardy, and I remember just sitting there like, and he was looking at me, and I saw, this isn't, I wouldn't say it was mean, yeah, but does he deserve it? Yeah. I remember, like, he just was looking at me, and I looked at my watch, like, is it time to go yet? And then I just stared at him, and crossed my arms, like, not cool, bro, not cool. And then I remember also, making a note saying, not cool, and I was going to crumble it up into a ball, and throw it at him, because, revenge is as sweet as a cookie platter. I don't know. So either way, I was like, okay, should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? Walking out of the classroom, I was like, no. No. I wouldn't be any better. So I threw it into the recycle area, and I was just like, So it's kind of ruined that class for me for the time being. I'll get over it in probably a month, but it's just like, it's not fun anymore. I used to be really kind of in that class. I'm not gonna say that's changed my whole perspective of things, but in the class I was really outgoing. I wanted to go first for presentations. But I remember with the Jeopardy thing, we were supposed to pick leaders, and everyone was saying my name, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it because I don't want to get made fun of again because that's what they're gonna do, or at least that's what that annoying kid's gonna do. But yeah, it's ruined me in that class, so I just want to say thank you. Yeah. Okay, enough of my sob story. It's okay, though. It's okay. after this episode, after this round, we'll go ahead and quit. And yeah, I realized we didn't get too much done. Like, we didn't even survive that much. But Mad Murders is more for just me to kind of talks with you guys and stuff. Not necessarily to get anything done. Okay, where's the murderer? I kind of want to be murdered. Murdered. I didn't get text back, did I? No, I didn't. We. Oh, crap! That was. I think it's. F10 is a snapshot, right? Killer! Killer, Martin! Well, this is a really good one right here. I'm getting snapshots, I hope. Or, you know, I'm messing up my video. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and end the episode off here. I'll try to make another. I'll try to make another episode unturned today and post it. If I don't, I apologize. And my break is over. I'm back on 2 videos between a Monday and a Friday. At least I'll try to. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed. Stay happy. I'll see you later. Bye.